Simplify perfect square radicals with negatives. So the square root of a number is asking for the side length of a square with a given area. So a perfect square can be drawn if the two sides are equal. And if the two sides are equal, then we have an area, a number of pieces inside. So if you have an area of a square, and that is 100 tiles, let's say, you can make a square of 10 by 10, and that's going to give you 100 as your area. So square roots, radicals, are asking for that. So the square root of 100 is 10. And your reasoning is because if you do 10 times 10, or 10 squared, that's where the 100 is coming from. So when we have negatives, we just have to figure out how that affects this. So we have a negative, and then we have the square root of 100. The square root of 100, we just went over, that's 10. There's a negative outside this radical, so we have to just bring down that negative, which has nothing to do with your square and your area, so the answer is negative 10. This problem on the right has a negative inside the radical. So that means you have to draw a square where the area inside is negative. You cannot have a negative area. Area is a number of square feet within a given space, and you can't have a negative number of feet. It doesn't make sense. So because of this, you cannot have any negatives underneath the square root. And because the negative is underneath the square root, we say this is no real solution. There is no real answer. Depending on which math class you're taking, you might have learned about imaginary numbers. So if that's the case, then the square root of negative 100 would actually be 10i. The square root of 100 is 10, and then because the negative's inside, we would write that as I. If you're not there, don't worry about it yet.